March 18th, 2019, I posted 2,823 to the Anachronisms blog. It's called Interpersonal Relations Part 2. It has a tiny quote, "Throbs to the earlobes." John Ashbery, to start. It's pretty cool to get exposed to fine arts at an early age, like Kid Rock's Doppelganger. We each decide here in the quiet room of the homeless shelter in which I've resided for the better portion of 2 years, and then Mr. Lucid, for the first time in the 6 months I've known him, he's my bunk neighbor, adds, "And so are interpersonal relations." Nobody had a clue what to say for a long while after that. We made it true just by being silent. But instead I'm giddy because this lies at the very foundation of my value system, which has been blown to smithereens the past couple of years, but yet clearly remains somewhere in here. Scrooge just claimed in a very poignant moment that interpersonal relations are, well, pretty cool. I've really no idea where the other minds here earlier have wandered, but I can hardly contain myself, which, as anyone who has spent more than, say, 15 minutes with me knows, is not that unusual. Biting my tongue being near impossible for me, so it's tough to speak, and this happens to me next to never. A couple of minutes pass, or perhaps 30, then Scrooge, aka Mr. Lucid, for the first time since I've made his acquaintance, adds, as if he had only seconds ago made the previous observation, "Yeah, and you most definitely talk too much." He's looking at me, duh. So the moment's gone, the subject veers momentarily to other subjects like earthquakes. Apparently one hit Napa Valley the previous Sunday, 3.8. I learn a lot from the guys in the quiet room and relearn just about as much. Things with which I've been out of practice, like regaining control of a sustained type of optimism. This and another example, the art, the sheer necessity of being social. I'm speaking for myself here, of course. I tend to usually add here that I've been diagnosed with anxiety. I'm on regular medication for it, particularly social anxiety. But yet I'm also a clear-cut extrovert in the Myers-Briggs sense, so I get my energy and my anxiety from people. They're a necessity and a curse, to which I usually add that I'm a Gemini. But this can't be that abnormal, is it? I don't know. It's just me. And every day is learning to deal with it. I stop my meandering thoughts long enough to listen to the directions the conversations have gone in the room, how San Francisco sucks, how it's a fantastic place to be, whichever it's home to me, and I do love it, or would be sitting in a homeless shelter, or wouldn't be sitting in a homeless shelter discussing such an absurd subject. Next up, our favorite spots to sleep when we are literally on the streets. Mine happens to be Ina Coolbrith Park, named after a poet, a relatively untraveled diagonal block on Russian Hill, built on one of those avenues that give way to vehicular dead ends for a block or two due to how steep it is, or how wealthy the neighborhood, I suppose. My mostly 6 months on the streets coincided with the longest contracted job I've had for nearly a decade, when during the earlier time I made enough money to take 3.5 years off of paid work and live the life of what I considered at the time either a luxury I never thought I would have, or that of a bohemian artist. I loved the park because it was relatively untrafficked. I had my own cul-de-sac built of boulders to sleep within, a fortress, if you will, and night or day, it had one of the most beautiful vistas these eyes have ever encountered. I got to wake up every morning, pre-dawn, to the view of the gorgeous New Bay Bridge, Treasure Island, and my home of sorts, the financial district, with its familiar buildings down below, as I spent my last night here at the barracks, as I called them, a place appropriately enough called Sanctuary, which stands inconspicuously at the corner of 8th and Howard Streets in Soma, feeling the need to record yet another small record of my existence. This more straightforward, truthful than normal hello to the world, or the minute part of it that might take a listen. I'm content. Tomorrow I shall move on to better things, finally. May it be an uphill swing for many years to come. If I had a small glass of champagne to distribute on my last night in the quiet room, I'd send us all a simple cheer. On to the next. May it never be as consistently grueling as the recent past.